Welcome in to the MJ38 show, episode number 18. 18. Mucho episodos.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of episodes, man. We're going in. Hopefully your day's going well. What up, dog?
You already know what I'm going to say. That this one's for the sheriff, Mr. Peyton Manning himself.
Absolutely. You already got to know about that, Mr. Number 18, Peyton Manning for the Indianapolis Colts and the Broncos for a little bit.
Super Bowl champion with both franchises.
Won a couple chips.
He always gets his man. That's why they call him the sheriff.
Sheriff in town. That's the guy. Oh, I love that guy.
Me too.
That guy's awesome.
He matured into an awesome adult, you know?
Mm-hmm. Now him and his brother are like casting Monday Night Football on some childhood fantasy shit. You know
Much like this. They're just like
you and your brother, when you're growing up watching football, it's like, man, wouldn't it be cool if we could like commentate on it? And it's like, nah. Yeah. On ESPN too. It's like you're watching the game, but like you're also listening to their commentary. There's no like game volume. I guess maybe there's like minimal. There's no announcer volume.
No.
Maybe just game volume.
Definitely.
Very, very small.
And it's just them doing this.
Them just
like
talking
a live
about
stream.
the game. They have guests on and shit.
Peyton
Manning. Shout out.
That looked worse than your rookie season right there, man. That was trash. But they're talking about it like that, but it's like on ESPN too. It's the best.
Yeah. Just brothers goofing off, man.
Yeah.
What a dope job.
How'd they get that?
What a dope job.
And also, they're like in their own house. They're just like chilling. It's not like they're in studio.
Yeah.
It's just like set up like this. Like he's literally just watching the game.
They're on like webcams.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then they get like Marshawn Lynch in there. They get
like Steph Curry.
Yeah, LeBron James. Like they get everybody in there.
Some guests. Shout out Peyton Manning.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Oh yeah,
Let's
go. I want to be a guest on your show one time on Monday Night Football. Let's go.
Please hear that.
Hey,
I don't know who you got to talk to. Call my people.
Call my people. I'll get some people.
That's us right now.
I'll get a phone number. They'll give it to you. Then you can reach out.
Heard that.
So welcome in. Waters are warm.
Yeah.
It's if you're watching, you might be wondering what the hell's going on. Where'd you guys go? Where'd y'all take this stew?
We did teleport this motherfucker.
It's a mobile stew. You know.
Yep. Just like Justin described it as.
It's mobile stew. But we're actually in a little change of scenery this evening at Mr. Matthews' crib that we had mentioned, aforementionedly, a couple times throughout the previous pods.
Yeah, it's cool how it comes to life.
Spot.
I was talking to you about it. No cap. Here we are.
And
this
now
is
now
you're in my waters.
And now we're like sitting on couches and shit.
This is a vibe.
Cool.
Sometimes it's a little stiff with you guys on those bar stools.
We're sitting on those stools and it's like we're high up, and now here we're like chilling and it's like super. The vibe is we're just chilling.
It's like MJ38 late night. It's a vibe,
Chill vibe.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, the waters are warm, man. Hopefully your day is going fantastic. If you're washing the dishes like I normally do when I listen to a podcast, get in there, man.
Yes.
That shit sucks, but just get in there, man.
It's ass. If you're settling into a run and you just want a nice rhythm so you can crush some miles before you have to get to that part where you're really going to push it, welcome in. We'll keep this hot for you. Hope you're entertained.
Yes, let's go. If you're driving, let's go. You're good. We're chilling now.
Yeah.
We're relaxing. Nobody else
What's
even
up,
exists.
Road dog?
All that traffic bullshit.
Fuck them, dog.
None of them.
Just cruising, man.
Yeah, we're cruising now, man.
That's how I feel in life right now. I feel like I'm just cruising. It feels good.
Yeah.
Feels like I got in that left lane. I hit
got
that
the cruise control.
I get that 79 mile per hour. Just like, you know what I'm saying?
We're good.
And I'm good, man.
Just hovering under the 80.
Yep. Just
don't want to raise any alarms.
Everybody's cool, man.
I'm speeding, but responsibly speeding, officer.
Yeah, he knows I know what's up when he clocks that.
Yeah, I'm like Harry Potter breaking the rules. You know, I'm not just recklessly driving 1,000 miles an hour.
No, not like that. Come on.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like if you don't pass a cop, like, and he's going slow, that's like more suspicious. It's like, what are we all doing here? It's like, don't be a pussy, bro. Like, sorry, we had to bleep that out, but you get it. I feel like here in Texas, you know, like
I was just gonna say
they kind of expect you to be going 75 if it's open to go 75.
Yeah, I think it is kind of a location thing, right? To a degree.
I don't know.
I think that Texas, well, just to mention or to connect it to Texas, I think we drive fast. Because we have a big ass state to cover. You know, if I want to go to another city, it costs a lot of time, a lot of miles.
Yeah.
In a lot of other states, it's maybe not the case. You don't have to drive as far to get from A to B.
No, yeah. Today I drove an hour to go get my haircut and an hour back. And then
Crikey.
I know, right?
Crikey, mate. Jesus.
That's what I like to do with one of my days off. But what I'm saying is there was a point where I was going like 80 and people were like riding my ass. And I was like, man, like they want me to go like 85. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'm happy to eat some highway because you never know when traffic's going to pop up. So sometimes if you can like get an extra 5 minutes from that first 45 minutes, but then you catch 5 minutes of traffic, you're like, kind of happy I was doing the Texas 85. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, baby, the Texas 85. That's like the Texas two-step right there. That shit's ingrained in the culture here, I think.
Yeah, you know what
I
I'm
think we all
saying?
drive kind of fast.
Yeah, I mean, be careful. You know what I'm saying? But
Of course.
we do be driving fast out here.
Yeah, I think because what is it like? Even just like in terms of speed limits, I think it happens on two levels of us driving fast, like Texans. I think we drive fast. We got a lot of land to cover. It's a big ass state out here.
Well said.
We're driving fast. But then also on another level, like I think even our speed limits on our highways and maybe our other kind of highway-ish roads are higher speed limits than the average. You know.
Yeah, no. I remember thinking
Places
that
in
when they
other
made the
states.
toll road.
Like the east and shit, right? You said Indiana.
Well, just the toll road going 130 around I-35. When that got put in, the speed limit's like 80 right there, like
Woo.
a legit 80. Like no kids,
You're not breaking the law at all, sir.
It says 80,
Whoa.
and I remember being a kid and being like, "Whoa, that's fast." You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
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 Like if you're speeding on that, that's doing like you're doing like 88, 89, 90, just like boom, boom, boom. That's fast, you know?
Yeah, people be booking it on those roads, I'm sure.
I think it's like 60 miles per hour through a lot of highways, through a lot of places.
Right? I think that's probably closer to the average in like state to state.
Yeah.
It's probably closer to 60.
It's like 70 is a lot.
Ours is 70.
80's cracked. Like, what are you doing? Like,
Where do you need to be? Where do you need to be that bad? Jesus Christ.
it's part of the allure for paying the toll, I think, is that you can really zoom if you pay a little money, you know?
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Just kind of cool, man. It's kind of cool.
I think it's kind of like an understood, unspoken agreement that, you know, everyone gets a little +5, +7, you know, roughly, give or take a mile or two. Everyone sees 60. You're going 64, 65. You know?
Yeah, come on.
I think in that zone, you feel okay. And I think you're okay. I think you're right in feeling okay. Right?
Yeah.
Or am I tripping?
No, I'm with you. I think that...
Like, it is a speed limit.
Like, so I think the reason why I brought up a cop is not because like I'm afraid of getting pulled over, but just like it makes my feelings get intensified when the cop's around. And then the thing that makes me feel normal is just going like 75 and a 70. Like if he's going like 65 and I'm like, what am I gonna do? Go like 60? That makes like no sense for either of us. You know what I'm saying? I guess I could like go the speed limit, but if no one's in front of me, cars start stacking up behind me. I just realized one day I was like, oh, the way I drive is like fine. Like it's not like the cops even care that I'm just like cruising here. They kind of want traffic to just flow. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
As long as I'm not driving like a jackass.
Small potatoes for sure.
Yeah, bro.
I'm sure they have a lot more pressing matters.
Yeah, facts.
You know,
I was thinking about that like the last week or two, and it was really like, I don't know, maybe that's growing up. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, I'm good. That's pointless anxiety.
it's more perspective.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What's I don't know. We were just talking about going fast in a car, but what's the fastest you've ever gone in a car? Because we be driving fast out here in Texas.
Like 160.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fast as fuck, dog. Right.
Okay, hear me
I
out.
was not ready for that. I think I've hit like 100 a couple times.
Okay, I've been with you on that extreme, but hear me out. Okay, so this is where I was at. I used to go like home on the weekend and then stop at my mom's house in Pflugerville Sunday night and have coffee with her, and then I would go to the intramural football game, which was at like 7:30 Sunday night.
This is in Pflugerville?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, my mom lived in Pflugerville and my dad lived in Georgetown.
Okay.
And then
how far is that? Pflugerville, Georgetown, roughly.
like 45 minutes.
So it's like 45 miles, roughly, maybe.
Yeah.
Probably.
And then like an additional 40 minutes or so, 45 minutes to get to San Marcos.
Hour and a half.
Yeah, hour and a half trip, but it just like divided up evenly, pretty much perfect with where my mom's house was.
Uh-huh.
So I would drive. The start of the toll road starts like in Georgetown, and you can just take that all the way to where Pflugerville is, and then on the back half it's toll road all the way to where you get to I-35 in Kyle, or like Buda is where it comes in.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So like 3 or 4 weeks in a row, I'm driving like around the same time because I need to leave with 45 minutes to go to make sure I get to the intramural football game on time. So I'm on the highway at the same time, and there's just like pack of cars that just goes like boom, 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 boom. At some point when I'm on, do we need a charger for that?
Yeah.
I got one behind me. I can grab it real quick.
There you go.
But at some point during the journey, it happens every time where these cars like pass me, and they would just be fucking flying. And like I swear, like 3 weeks in a row, I saw this. And then maybe like the 3rd or 4th week, I'm already thinking like, yo, if I see those cars just like go by me, I'm just jumping over and I'm fucking going. And I'm seeing what's up, dog.
What's at the end of the rainbow?
Yeah, I'm like, let me hop on this fucking
Were they
rainbow
the same
road
cars,
right
or was it just like a trend you were seeing that cars at the same time were happening to just whoom?
in my mind, the story that I had painted for myself was like these guys go to the racetrack Sunday night.
Oh, okay.
And they just like rip this part of the highway. And then once I had like put it in my head like that I've seen people going like way faster than 100 miles per hour on this highway on this little stretch right here, I just kept my head up to see if I ever saw a cop there. I was like, what if they know that cops aren't right here? And like, let me just see if that's what's going on here.
Dead zone.
Right? Let me see the signs, right? And I never saw a cop there.
Okay.
And I used to frequent this a lot because like
this is 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Of research and science.
Yeah, you feel me?
Yes.
Yeah, you're with me.
Yes.
Fuck yes, dog. So then at this point, I'm just like, the other thing is I know that I'm not, like, if I just catch the end of what they're doing, I think the cops are going to go after those guys. And I can just, like, hopefully not get in trouble, I guess is what I'm thinking, dog. I don't know. I was like, if I'm, like, the 6th person to be going crazy,
what's
like,
the likelihood that this time of all times?
Yeah, right, whatever. So I just, like, hop over and fucking go.
It's probably the same people.
Huh?
It's probably
Yeah,
the same
that's what I
people.
thought.
Yeah.
And I hop over and just go.
You see him?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I see him coming up on the left side, and I'm like, I'm just going to rip it, dog. Like, and I get over to the right side because they're coming up fast. So, like, I had done this maneuver before where I'm like, oh, fuck, get over. But this time I'm like, yeah, it's over.
It's going down.
Boom, boom, boom. And then
How many, 3 of them?
I think there was at least 4.
Was it like always like more than 2? Or like
Definitely always more than 2. Like 3 or 4 weeks in a row.
a couple homies. Just,
Yeah. Just flying, dog. In my own mind, I was like, they're road dogs. This is what they do, bro. I'm about to do it with them. Let's go, bro.
You about to get, it's a straight pump.
Yeah, come on, let's rumble, baby.
I'm the road dogs.
For real. So then I just like, I'm driving like a Genesis coupe that's a 4-cylinder car, but it has a 2.0 turbo in there. So it would be like, and I had cold air intake, not a lot of, it would be like, like we'd be going, you know what I'm saying?
Let's go.
And then I got to like 100, and they were fucking getting away from me. And 100 didn't really feel like much because we're already at 80. So like the adrenaline of just like making the choice to fly with these guys, I got to 100 and I was like, nothing. And then it was like up to 120. And then I was like, okay, we're going kind of fast, but they were still pulling away from me, like legit pulling away from me. And I go up to 140 and my heart's racing now, right?
Fuck around, dog.
Dude, for real. And I know that from 140, there's a point where I'm like deciding to go like one more push because they're still pulling away.
Oh,
and
God.
I'm like laying it down because also in my mind, I've driven a standard before. And I just know that like once you're in 6th gear and going as fast as you can go and you're flooring it, there's only like, your car will only have so much more pickup like before you're kind of like at a top speed.
Yeah, it'll reach its
like maximum potential of like what it's going to do. And I'm like, in my own head, I'm like, that's probably coming up anyways. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And this like 140 to, I thought my mind wanted 180. I'm like, 180 would be like hard as fuck, I guess, was like the ultimate, like if I could say that, that'd be sick. But somewhere in between that 140 and 160 mark, bro, I'm shit you not, dog. You're with me in this car right now. Just
going
like
150 plus miles per hour. Oh, Jesus.
Just like just one.
How does it feel?
I didn't get scared at 120. Like it just felt like I was going kind of fast, right? But I'd gone kind of fast before. But then like 120 to 140, my heart was like, doo, 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 doo. It felt like, I mean, this is crazy. We're on the podcast. I'd be telling you this story over like a beer. I'm not saying you should do this. Don't fucking do this, okay?
Don't do it.
He just asked how fast I've ever gone.
I'm just asking for the truth. We're giving it to you. So you're flying at 140.
I'm
Heart's
flying,
beating fast.
but I'm good though. It feels like a fucking like you
roller coaster.
Yeah, like a roller coaster or like a video game almost. Like it was cool to. I looked outside and it was just like shit going by really fast. I had the music really loud and the windows down and shit too. So I'm like fucking just like enjoying the experience of like feeling like a fucking fucking yeah, bro. Yeah, you feel me?
Yes.
I was like owning that, but then like so then
embrace it.
Yeah, in between like it felt crazy. The other thing is I'm watching people definitely get away.
Go faster than you.
Exactly. And,
so you're like, oh, the crazy thing I'm doing is not that crazy.
No, not at all, dude. They're gonna think I'm a pussy actually, dude, because they're pulling away from me.
I'm the slowest one.
Yeah. And then so I'm like it gets to a point where like I don't know, I'm looking out this way because it looks crazy. I'm like, oh shit, I'm going fast. And then like that was kind of like looking down from the balance beam, and like while I was over there I had like drifted a little bit in the lane, just like a little bit, right? But when I come back and I correct it just like a little bit, my whole car's like boom, boom.
Jesus, dude.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Take off, dog. Turn to a spaceship coupe.
You know what I'm saying?
Christ.
So when I felt the wobble, and I remember
that's
thinking
scary.
like it was just the smallest amount, bro.
Yeah.
Just like
It was like 3 degrees of a steering wheel turn.
yeah. I mean the whole back end was
Going
just,
at 160. Fuck.
I don't know if I ever
Or
got
whatever.
there. Yeah,
140 plus.
yeah. And then I was just like, "Fuck it, dude. That was tight. That was tight. That was tight. 160. That's hard." I'll
Did they
take
have
it.
some whips?
Yeah, I don't know if it was like Corvette. I don't feel like it was like Ferraris, but I feel like they were going so fast I couldn't really see. Like you know how like Audis just kind of look like foreign cars. Like, I'm not really sure exactly what they were.
That's crazy.
Just whipping, dog.
They were just the road dogs.
Yeah, and it was just like that same Sunday night, and it was cool. So yeah, but my dad like grew up with like fast cars and would take me to like the track and stuff to see fast
Yeah, he
cars.
raced cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I definitely had been in a fast car with like nitrous going off, and then in my own mind when I had cars, like I always wanted to kind of like when my dad would be out, sometimes we'd just get to a straightaway where he know there's not any cops, and he'd be like like peel out the tires and shit, you know what I'm saying? Like hit a donut. That's like casual behavior in my family, you know? So like,
Yeah, we're just popping donuts.
yeah. So I definitely it felt natural to be like, okay, this is an opportunity where we're gonna top end this fucking car and see what it can do.
That's tight.
But I learned something about top ending a car is 3 degrees at a top end. Fucking gotta be careful not to
You
lose that
gotta be
motherfucker.
straight ahead. Just, whoa, Christ. It's fucking Formula One, dog. That's going fast, bro.
Don't get caught looking out the window.
Don't look nowhere else. Damn, that's crazy, bro. I've only gone like, I would say like 100.
Yeah.
Maybe like barely break 100. I haven't gone very fast.
I caught myself going 100 the last time I went to my dad's house. It's just
Yeah.
people drive fast, you know what I'm saying? And the other,
Especially here in the Lone Star State, baby.
we're all driving. It's like 75 out there in between like Georgetown and Waco. And
Speed limit?
yeah,
Damn.
I
Let's
know,
go.
right?
Right.
It's crazy.
We're crazy, y'all.
So then people are going 85 like it's nothing.
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
I've got the cruise control at like 84, business booming, AB, call God.
Call them.
That's what I think when I set the cruise control at 84. And then sometimes the thing is like, you ever been in the car and the song is just going off and you're just like vibing and you're like, fuck it. Like, you ever just have that moment? Yeah, I had that moment and I was like, son of a bitch, I'm going like 100. Like, oops.
Slow down a
Let me
little
slow
bit.
down here.
Yeah. Yeah, it happens. Yeah, especially because sometimes like the car just handles so nice sometimes you don't even feel it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Your vibe is so right. Like, it's just
Yeah.
like,
Everything's gelling. The car, yeah. If the car doesn't handle well, you probably feel 100 a lot differently. Or like 80 probably feels a lot different in a hoopty.
yeah, it's true. I feel you. I feel you. Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah. Some of the cars nowadays, shit.
Killing, bro.
You don't even feel it, man. It's super easy to go 80 plus. It's like, oh shit. I drove my girlfriend's mom's Camaro. It's like in that car, I was like, oh, I can see very easily how you can like get lost going 100 because I was like barely like just on the pedal and I was on like 79. I was just like, damn. Like this would just whoop. Real quick.
Don't you think if you were driving that car one time,
It's
you
like,
just might.
You would just whoop. All it takes is like 3 seconds. Get up to good 120 real
Dude.
quick from 80 or from whatever.
It's like a video game, man.
Jump up. So that's like a thing for people, nah? Isn't that kind of like a, I don't know, maybe not a vice, but definitely like definitely a hobby. Cars are definitely a hobby people get into big time. But also
It
like
seems
the
like
idea
a
of going
vice.
fast in a car.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it seems like if you look at like a tropotypical like thrill-seeking man, it's like you want fucking fast women, fast cars, fast money, baby.
You want to
Pop,
gamble.
pop.
You want to drive fast.
Yeah, bro, that does it fits, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't know, man. I think
Where's that come from?
cuz it's a toy. I think it's like a cool toy.
Mm-hmm.
It's the coolest toy, actually. Like
Pretty fucking neat toy, dude.
yeah. So it's like I think part of the allure, like when cars first came out in the 50s, was it was like this is like the leading edge of science. This is fucking crazy.
Yeah, before that we were just riding fucking horses. How fast can a horse run? Definitely not as fast as fucking 120 miles an hour.
We call it horsepower. 1 horsepower.
Yeah, 1 horsepower equates to like what? Like 35 miles an hour?
I don't know. I would guess. If I had to guess, I'd say like 18, and I've seen like humans run 18, 19 miles an hour before. So I guess like
Right.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I've seen on the NFL they be having the pads. They have
hmm
tracking things in the pads to track their speed. And
Yeah.
some of they top out like 22.
Yeah, yeah, I've
Full
seen that.
pads, just whoom. So
That's crazy, right?
Yeah, that's fast as fuck.
Yeah.
Game speed while people are trying to tackle you.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Hit some open field and just
Yeah,
22 miles an hour. So yeah, I'm sure a horse can hit 30, 35.
that's crazy. But yeah, so I think that's
Going
part.
fast. But yeah, so prior to that, we were riding horses and shit. And then like
Yeah.
when cars came out, they were kind of slow at first, I'm sure. And then like make it faster. And then it was like, oh shit, this is cool, y'all. Whoa! It's like a drug.
Yeah,
I guess like adrenaline rush. It's like a roller coaster. You go fast on a roller coaster.
yeah. There's something about it's something about owning it though. Like I think that's part of the allure too.
That's it for sure. It's definitely not the same as a roller coaster because that you're like that's that. I love roller coasters for that. Like, I was like, I ain't gotta do shit. I just gotta show up. It's like, take me. Whoa. But with the cars, like, woo, that's a big difference. You're in control of that whole thing.
Right.
Yeah. Whenever you're driving a car, you become that car. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You become that. You feel
And-
that space.
The other thing about a car is like when you're driving that car and you become that space, like
Mhm.
it doesn't really matter who you are, what walk of life you come from, or what situation you're in. Like some people are just like they're car people. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
they love being in the car and like what it represents and like the work they put into it. You know, like,
Yes.
that's like their escape to some degree. You know, like
big time.
so I think then I think like rich people like to have not rich people, but like when you have money, like let's say you just like are successful, like you're a hardworking, successful man. At some point, you're gonna have to like buy something for yourself. At some point, you're gonna need a car. Like it's almost not gonna make sense to like. Part of you is gonna be like, I don't know. Don't you want to like give yourself something nice? Because they make crazy car nowadays, man. Like, do you want to check out some of the nice cars? Because like you're really successful on it. Like it's in your range, you know.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, let's like check it out.
Why not?
Right. So I
It's
feel
safe. They're safe.
it's like the safest thing in the world. Actually, these ones are way safer. Actually,
Yeah, they're way safer than they've ever been.
that like makes sense to me. I don't think it's a bad choice in that sense. But then there's also like cross culturally there's people in situations where like the car is kind of like their outlet from their living situation, and then the culture is pushed by these like people that are buying like the high end cars, and then people are like kind of competing with those cars. Like I feel like that's like what Fast and Furious kind of like tapped into as like a franchise and stuff like that. It's just like that like way of life and that culture.
Yeah, big time.
So
Those movies were great, and they're still making them.
that's crazy,
Crikey.
right?
Yeah, like fucking. I don't even know. 12, 10.
I think it's definitely. I think
A lot.
Did 10 come out yet?
I don't even know.
It's either 10 or 11 is the next one.
Crikey. Too much.
Yeah.
it's a whole culture. It's a whole
Whole culture.
whole people. It's definitely a point of pride. I understand it. It's like it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of fucking work to get all that
to
shit
fix
right.
a car up like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially like if you want to know like the intricacies and the ins and outs of like the engine and the transmission and how it's all put together, how it works, like what happens when you turn the ignition, and like if it doesn't, being able to troubleshoot, you know, having enough knowledge of the ins and outs of the engine or like the engineering of how this shit works. And like people love that. Like my stepdad, he fucking loves that shit. And then people fall in love with that. And then whenever they have all that information, that knowledge, they're able to like actually like do something with it. You know what I'm saying? It's like with their hands, they could like build my stepdad had built a whole dune buggy like by his hand. You know what I'm saying? Like he built the engine and like built like the framing and shit. Made his own little street legal dune buggy. Just fucking cuz.
That's hard as fuck. That's like he's like an engineer or scientist.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
A whole thing.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it takes a lot of work. It's a whole fucking thing. It's a very valuable trade too.
Yeah.
On top of all that.
So it's
Very
something
nice.
to take pride in. Like if your car
Yeah,
is dope,
very.
like you invested money into it because you work hard and you put a lot of work into it and you care for it. And like transportation is no joke. Like we have to have a house and we kind of have to have a car, you know. So within those constraints, it's like if you want to ball, you know what I'm saying, you like take care of your place you live and you take care of your mode of transportation, you know.
Yeah, those are the two big things, man.
Yeah.
You need a car. I guess you don't need one, but fuck. I think we mentioned this on a podcast previous, but like people who don't have their driver's license,
Oh yeah,
it's like fuck.
dude. I mean, I feel like we'll probably all. First of all, we're really lucky to just like have a car. Like I pretty much always just like had a car. Super, super blessed in that regard. So I don't really have the perspective of what it's like to not have to do that. But I did go through like a season where I don't have a car and you have to like walk. I kind of just like had to walk and take the bus, for like 9 months to a year maybe. And I feel like that season really made me appreciate like having a car. And then I'll be trying to like give rides to everybody I can that's like in that position because it just like sucks. It has to suck ass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not fun, man. Fucking walking everywhere. Nah, it's like being a kid. Whenever you're a kid, you don't have a car. You have to like walk everywhere.
Damn.
You don't have a choice.
I biked everywhere. That was
You
basically
have
the
a
whip.
bike. That was your whip. Yeah, absolutely. When you're a kid, your bike is your fucking whip, bro. Put some pegs on that bitch. Hop on, bro.
I'll give you a ride, dog. I got you. Exactly,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And we took pride in that almost the same way. It's
Yeah.
something about like your mode of transportation is like something you can.
Maybe it was like like the mode of transportation and the ability to have that agency of like transportation. Once you have that introduced into your life, you're like, oh shit, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like the ability to just
Get around the map.
Just get around the map.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like learning to run instead of walk. Just like amplified. It's like, oh wait, instead of running, I could bike. Wait, instead of biking, I could drive.
Yeah.
Instead of driving, I could fly. Eventually, we're gonna get to the point where we have fucking planes and shit. That'll be cool, dog.
Like, we have planes?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. That's tight. Yeah. I'm into that. I saw
from the skateboard from the fucking Razor scooter, dog, to the PJ.
Yeah. I can't wait for those moments. As much as I want to go, man. I see Instagram videos of these planes like just like taking off these runways in these like exotic places. Or one was just like in Michigan, but it looked crazy.
Exotic places?
Out there in
Michigan.
To be honest. Fucking,
it looked great, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was like into a canyon with like a bunch of hills and mountains and stuff. And I was just remember thinking like, damn, that plane better go up. You know what I'm saying? But I guess like planes are safe and they go up.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have planes as a culture, but having a plane as a person, that's tight.
That's tight. Yeah,
that's some different agency you have. That's the next level.
We can just go to Vegas right now.
Yeah,
right. Go to Vegas.
You can go anywhere. I guess it does cost. You have to like have like a pilot probably, unless you're gonna fly it yourself, and it probably costs a good amount for the fuel to get from A to B. But at that point, I'm sure you don't give a fuck about a couple $1,000s.
Do you think if Drake is sitting with his homies and they're like, "Do you want to go to Vegas right now? I will fucking go right now. Do you have to work tomorrow? You don't? Let's go. Fuck it. I'm not. Pack a bag." It's like literally just like. Can he make one? He can just make one phone call, right? It's like bloop 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 bloop. I'm pretty sure.
I want to say yes.
I'm pretty sure.
I want to say yes.
I'm trying to frame the question. Do you think that like, at that point you don't need time to book it? You know what I'm saying? It could happen like right now. I don't think you have to book a flight.
Yeah, if you have your own PJ.
Yeah.
I guess the only thing you would need to communicate is if you have, or make sure you have some fucking pilots on call.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
I'm sure he does.
That's hard.
I'm sure he does. I'm sure that's a lot of money to spend.
I have a couple different pilots on call that are like on call for like 12-hour shifts.
My pilot's on call.
You're on call from 6 to 6, and you're on call from 6 to 6.
If that's how it works, that's hard as fuck.
I don't know. That's how I would do it.
For him, for sure. He's at the top of the ladder, yeah. I imagine to have like PJ money is one thing, and then to have like instant takeoff money is probably a different thing.
That's another level. God damn, this shit gets deep, y'all.
It's deep, bro. It's like, yeah, you got a PJ, but you can't fly out tomorrow. Come on.
See, there's like levels to the fucking like the scooter game. There's levels to the bike game. There's levels to the car game. There's levels to having any of those. There's levels to having a PJ, and in that, there's a whole different. It's the Russian doll everywhere, y'all. We're in a Russian doll of Russian dolls. If you don't know what that is, it's the fucking like the egg-shaped thing that just has smaller egg-shaped things inside of it.
There's levels and layers. You got to pray for the players. Push a T. I feel like it's referenced a lot in art, but you just the nuances of everything are so deep. Like the detail that it comes down to is it's usually so fine, and then from that point, like flower, it like tree branches outward, and it's like a million different nuances about like any given subject, like anything. You talk about like pool, like
billiards,
or you could talk about like any sport, like anything, like ladybugs probably like have crazy nuances between all the different kinds or whatever. You
Grass,
know what I'm saying? Like shit's wild.
Yeah, it gets deep, it gets crazy. There's so much levels, so much nuance to every level.
Yeah, that's why people like cars, because that's a nice like what we were talking about is like it's a representation of the understanding of the nuance and layers of something.
Yes. Yeah, life has so many nuances and layers. Whenever you can discover that in a microcosm, in like a small thing that you can actually grasp, it's like, and then like do things with your hands with, it's like, oh, and like I guess you act it out.
Yeah.
With a car, you can like understand the car, and then you can like fix it and like diagnose it and work on it.
Press a button, it's like, I was right. It works.
Like, yeah, I did it, and yeah, it's like true. It's true. You know what I'm saying? It's like I actually fixed it.
Yeah.
My knowledge was true. I wasn't bullshitting.
Yeah. That's got to be really validating. That's probably part of like the car love. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
That's
100%. 100%. But man, I lost it. I
find that in like working out too, because you want that. Sometimes it's nice to have that like it's true moment, like the validity of like the work. Like no, what I had like hypothesized was correct.
Yes.
And it took this body of work, and I know I did it, and I got this result, and that is true. Like
yeah. And it's intoxicating to do it in a thing, to do it like in any aspect of life, because in a microcosm, because I think life is at a macrocosm level like that. This like you're able to like do it here at this level. You're like, yeah, that feels good. It's like the same proportionate level of like how small you are compared to the universe. You know what I'm saying? It's like it feels good to you. It's like the universe is like that is what the universe is like. It's so deep.
Yeah.
And there is a way to like understand it and be like true.
Yeah.
I think
I'm feeling that.
Right.
I've definitely felt
the same way you could fix a car for real.
Yeah. You get your life like kind of humming. And like things are going well for you, and you're like, no, this is legitimate. I know I'm on a roll. Like I know
it wasn't working, and now it is working. It's like 9-day difference sometimes. And yeah, I think what you were touching on is 100% on the money. With it's validating to have that hypothesis and then to act it out and run the experiment and then to receive the results and then compare it to what you thought. Especially like in the working out realm, where it's like I think I'm going to do these things. I'm gonna like monitor my diet to these specific things, and I'm gonna do these kind of workouts. I'm gonna run this and execute this for 6 weeks. Then you take like a picture, and then take a picture, and then you're like, yes, correct,
yeah,
eureka.
100%. It's nice because part of it is
life's like that.
Yeah. Okay. So here's what I was gonna say, and I think
get in there.
You don't really know. You don't really know if what you're gonna do is the right thing to do.
You have no idea,
or if it's working
on week 1, day 1. Before even day 1, you have no idea if it's even worth going into day 1.
Right. That's the whole thing. Like you have to go out like in like this leap of faith territory into this like
exploratory, scientific.
Like I'm out of the space of known territory, and I'm now in the space of unknown territory where like anything could happen. I could be wasting my time. I could get hurt. Like I could like literally like hurt myself in this gym. You know what I'm saying? I could embarrass myself. Like all your worst fears could happen there. And then like instead you carve out what is your outcome. Like hopefully it's the desirable outcome. Hopefully like you truly commit and you truly get the result. And then I think that's the part about life is that like it wants you to step into unknown territory. It wants you to truly commit. And then like I think you get the result that you truly commit to. That's why everybody says like aim high or like
shoot for the stars. Be ridiculous.
That idea, but also like to go for exactly what you want. Like to not settle for doing something that isn't like your dream or like what your purpose is in this life. Like you should like pursue that ideal life. I think that's like a sentiment I've heard from like a lot of successful people. And I think it's just like because you'll get what you put into it. And I think that's like the same thing with the working out. Like if you commit yourself to something, then you get the result. It's just like a lot of people don't truly commit themselves, or it just takes like to commit 100% takes 5 years. You have to like struggle through year 1 to year 2, and then year 2 to year 3 get better, and then 3 to 4 you understand how to sustain long runs, and then year 4 you learn how to thread the time in between the long runs, and then in year 5 you gain enough stamina to do a full year and feel no fatigue, and then from year 6 forward you're fully committed. At least that's how it was for me. So like once you can actually fully commit, which might take 5 years to develop the capacity to fully commit to something, then you will get like your desired output. It's just like, I think that's the science of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's like a reflection of life. Like that's a microcosm version of that, but like in life, in the macrocosm, that's what happens too.
I think so. For 100%. I believe so.
We just see a lot of people who end up in places. It's like, I'm here. This is what happened. Like, this is my life story. I'm in this place. And then I'm like, how'd you get there? What the fuck happened? And I'm like, I think at some point it's like whatever they committed themselves to kind of like became where they were, you know?
Yeah. I think if you never stop.
Yeah, you gotta be careful what you commit yourself to.
Yes.
As a whole.
Yeah. I guess you're kind of committed to your habits, even like
I'd say yes.
not even right, not
Yeah.
even like consciously and subconsciously. All your habits and like what you do consistently day to day.
Hmm.
It's like the patterns you repeat.
Yeah. That's why you can change your habits and that will
Hmm.
change your like output, but it's like your output is your habits. Like you'd have to do work
Hmm.
and you'd have to like take the spleen out. You can just like take, you know what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
I lost
Yeah,
myself there.
yeah.
But like
Like you have to do some of the neural rewiring of the neurals, and then that'll create different habits.
yeah, 100%. Like you are what you do every day, and you can't just be something different because you're kind of stuck in what you do every day. But you can change what you do every day slowly over time, and then that will change like what you're getting back as a result of all time. Like I'm sure there's a
Hmm.
point where like any of the listeners, you might like not really eat super like strict or super healthy right now, and you might one day. But like I definitely had no control to like do one or the other early in life. But
Mm.
now it's like relatively easy to just not eat junk food and just like not like just eat relatively good food all the time. And I have like control over that for like the full year. Whereas like earlier in life I didn't have that level of commitment. No,
Absolutely,
like
yeah,
nowhere near. You know what I'm
yeah. I
saying?
remember it'd be like, yeah, it was hard to do legs, and it was like it was hard to work out on a Saturday.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to go to, I don't go on a Saturday. It's the weekend.
Right?
Like fucking
Like, I'm
yeah,
done.
for sure.
100%.
So yeah, it takes time, and it takes a lot of time
Right.
to get there. But eventually, it'll be like brushing your fucking teeth
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
this. Yeah, as far as like the nutrition and the gym, and just virtually any habit,
Yeah.
all that
But
shit.
it takes the rewiring takes like people say 21 days to like break a habit, make a new habit.
Mm-hmm.
So and then the now is like the now. You only have like what you are right now. Like you can't, and that's another like I was just thinking about this.
What's up?
It was something that I had learned like 3 or 4, maybe 5 years ago. I think I was in high school when I had like this was like a aha moment
Mm-hmm.
where I realized like you can't have anything right now. Like anything you don't have, if you want it, you can't just be like I have it. Like nothing works like that.
Uh,
Like so then I there was a feeling in my stomach attached to like wanting a nice body. And sometimes I'd be like about to go out. I'm like going somewhere tomorrow where I want to look really nice. And I'm like doing like 1,000 crunches. Just like from 8 p.m. to like 10:30 p.m.
let's go.
You know what I'm
2.5 hours.
like, let's
baby.
go, bro. Like, I'm just gonna sit here and do reps of 20, and I'll just do a tally every time I do 20, and I'm just gonna watch fucking House, bro. We're just watching House and doing crunches for the next X amount of time, bro. I got
That's
somewhere
my dog.
to people to see tomorrow. And then I got to a point where like yeah, like 2.5 hours into a session of doing that,
Mm.
and like my stomach hurt and my abs didn't look good. Like
You weren't ripped.
no, no.
What the fuck?
I had like a pump, but the pump made me look like fucking turtle shell stomach, bro. I was like, if anything, I looked more bloated. Everything was. I didn't have a trim waistline at that point. It was like.
Like a turtle shells.
Fucking.
Oh my god.
And I just realized, like, yo, if you want money, like, there's no way to just have money right now. You're like, man, I wish I had money. It's like, sometimes you'll just go on Google and be like, ways to make money fast. But like, or ways, six pack shortcuts. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of temptation, like, to just be like, I want this, like, right now. Or with women, you'll go to a bar and just be like, I want, like, I don't know, that feeling that, like, I'm looking for in a woman. I want that like right now. And you'll just like sometimes like spend money pursuing that. And I'm just like, there's a thing in my mind that's just like nothing happens right now.
Mhm.
Like everything is a seed planted. So the feeling that you feel whenever you're like, I want it right now. Like I'm the feeling of doing those crunches over and over and over again. Like
Yeah.
that feeling of like
Let's go.
like I don't blame myself for doing that because
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
know
yeah.
any better.
Of
You know what I'm
course.
saying? But in that struggle I found a truth which was like this is kind of pointless. I have to live like this for months so that anytime I go out, I'm there. Because I can't just make it happen right now. I've got to go build that tree and then live in that tree because I can sustain it. If you have it, then it's easy to just do my daily crunches when I already have abs. And then it's like, boom, there it is, baby, I'm good.
Let's go.
But it can't just be like, boom. Same thing with money. It's easy if you're up like 20 racks and you're like, okay, I'm just going to go make my 250 today, add it to the stack. I'm not going to spend that much money. Like, you're going up. Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is like, once you have it, it's way easier to sustain it. Upkeep is way easier than like creation.
Yeah, then 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Going from 0 to 1 is way harder than 1 to 2.
It's like
way harder.
Way harder. So, and that's why momentum's on your side too. But that's the solid truth of like I guess if you're talking about like the microcosm of learning about the levels and layers and the nuances of things and then taking it to the macrocosm, one of the truths that I have in that vein is like this is all a process thing. Everything is a process thing. So any part of your brain that's like upset or feeling anxiety or fear because you don't have something right now, it's like you're not even close. Like just let that fucking go.
Hate to break it to you, motherfucker. That shit ain't coming.
Not today.
Not right now. Not in a minute. And not right now.
No. You have to create a frame where you understand that you are in a process of getting that. And that like you're staying true to that process and feel good about that. Because it's impossible. It's impossible to give it to yourself right now. Like you just better off letting go of that idea. And then like that's why like trust the process is like I don't love a process. It's not like I love fucking doing the same thing every day. Or routine isn't sexy. Like no one likes getting up to go eat the same fucking bowl of Wheaties every day. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm not doing it because that's an enjoyable thing. It's like I'm trusting the process. And then
100%.
Yeah. That's
sometimes it ain't sexy. It ain't exciting all the time.
The thing is that becomes sexy to me. Like that has become sexy to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because we're able to assign the positive neuroassociation to the doing of the thing because we know that the doing of the thing is what needs to be done to get the thing.
Yes.
So like doing the work feels just as good, sometimes better than having the thing.
Yeah. Like when you really crush, you're like, I did everything I could today. Everything. It's like, I'm sure that feeling when people, I'm sure sometimes that feels better than the actual trophy. Because it's kind of over when it's happening.
Yeah, sometimes suffering in the sauna feels great. You know what I'm saying? Whenever you get out, you're just like, oh, that feels incredible. It feels incredible. That sauna session felt better than, you know what I'm saying, a lot of shit.
So true, bro. So true, man.
This feels great. Doing that shit.
We're up here preaching to these people. Sometimes I don't want to act like I know stuff, you know?
But the right now, we know our experience.
That's true.
That's all we're talking on.
I think if you're a fan of me, it's because you think I know what I'm talking about.
There we go.
And in that case, you're welcome.
Yeah. Let's go. Michael Scott, nice to meet me.
Go on, please. I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off.
But no, you were saying the truth is, because there is that big truth in that there is no, you can't do 1,000 crunches. You can't do 1,000 crunches and expect the abs. You can't take 100 multivitamins in a day and expect to be good for 100 days. That's just not how it works. But like, it's funny because it's like you can't have it in the right now, but the right now is everything. It's like your only experience is the right now. Everything you've ever experienced has been in the now, in the right now, as Eckhart Tolle would say, in The Power of Now. But I think that what we were also saying is that you are existing in the now, and everything that you're experiencing in the now is like seeds that you have planted in the not now. Yeah. in the was.
Yep.
And then in the was time, you were planting seeds, and now you're experiencing those seeds in the now. And then the way you process those seeds is like what you're planting for the then time.
It sucks, but it's true.
It's like an infinity. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. It's tough because you have to embrace that you put yourself in this place that you don't like that you are.
Ooh.
That's like, if you're going to accept the thing that you're talking about, then you have to like accept that part too. And that's like, I think people struggle with that. It's like, fuck that. Like, life did this to me. I didn't do this to me.
Life.
And I guess you could view it like that, but it's just way easier to like take radical ownership of what's going on. For me, it was just being overweight. I was like, oh yeah, I eat like shit. Like I eat a lot of junk food, for sure. And I don't really know much about food. And it's funny because whenever anybody starts learning about food, it's funny because like they don't really know. Like I didn't know about food. Like we don't know about food. We're like, I'm doing avocado and cheese because I think it's like good fats. And I'm like, I don't know.
Let's go.
I don't know, bro. I was definitely eating a lot of chicken out of the can because it was like chicken. And I'm like, I'm eating chicken. I'm going to cook this on the stovetop.
Protein.
You know what I'm saying? Like, just stepping into like taking control of like my nutrition a little bit.
Yes.
And then that combined with being like, okay, look, jackass, don't be eating like cookies every day. You know what I'm saying? Just like put down the Pop-Tarts and shit and like lock in. You know what I'm saying? Just try to like make good choices. Because it was easy to assign guilt to myself when I was eating shit that I knew was bad for me. But I was kind of like, you have like a system in place to like hide it from yourself where you're like, you justify the decision that you don't want to do. And then there's this moment where I'm talking about where you take like radical ownership and you're like, I'm not going to justify bullshit decisions anymore. Like, I want this thing. I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to give perfect effort for it. And it's crazy because, like, if you give perfect effort, like, it just happens.
Mm-hmm.
Like, almost every time, I've really never seen it not work. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, never.
I think so too, dog. I think I had that revelation, like, in college whenever I was like, oh, I think that, like, because, like, it was, like, starting, like, I guess in high school, I was like always wanted to be like a starting varsity basketball player.
Right.
And then like eventually like through like a lot of hard work and like through some I guess some situational shit, like there was like an injury and like just like
you know how the story
life played out.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, boom, here you go, you're starting now. It's just like, oh, what the hell? And then like I took that and then also in the spot that I was in when I was having this like internal dialogue with myself, I was in college and then I guess I just received the news or I had maybe I just received the news, but maybe I was able to at that point, like it was a locked in thing that I was going to receive like a summer internship, which you need to get to like graduate. So it was like, I need to get this summer internship taken care of. And then the fall semester, I will go through that semester. My last one, I'll graduate. So like, I remember like in the spring semester, getting that validation or getting that locked in that I was going to have that summer internship through like my teacher. And then just having a realization of like, because even before going to college, I just like set that intention of like I'm going here to do this thing. I'm gonna do this thing. I'm gonna graduate and like get the job. It's like what's gonna happen? You know what I'm saying? I think maybe it might have even been whenever I got the job. After I got the job, and I think maybe I was moving at one point, and I was like telling all this to Luke, one of our homies. I think because I was moving, and I was telling him all this. And as I was telling him all this, I was like, yeah, like that instance it worked out. Like that instance it worked out, and like in that instance it worked out. And in none of those three instances did I have any clue of how it was going to happen. But like, I just like, that was like the intention was set from the beginning. And then like, I just saw how it played out at the end.
Yeah.
It was just like, pshoo, pshoo, pshoo. So if you come in and like, yeah, try to play the perfect game, I think if you're honestly trying to do that with like all your being,
yeah,
really trying to play a good game, I think it'll work out.
Yeah.
It'll work out every time.
And you'll get better at playing the game too. You're being like honest.
You'll get better at playing the game.
Yeah, facts. You'll get nasty.
Yes.
Yep, that's the thing is I sold myself short a lot. Like I think we give great effort, but in reality, like you're cutting yourself short like a lot. Like Kobe talked about how he felt when he would go into practice and he would watch everybody else come into practice because he would make sure he was like the first one there, and then he would just like kind of use that as a representation of how seriously they were going to take the day, and that's what like fueled him to like want the ball a lot in the fourth quarter. Is that like the people that he would trust in the fourth quarter were the people that had been taking it serious for like a long period of time. And like that's just crazy because like I don't think he was describing that to anybody while it was happening. That was just what he legitimately used as like a meter or like a barometer for like who he could trust in the cut. It's like who really is committed and dedicated.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Committed and dedicated.
Like they're willing to focus, they're willing to sacrifice their time. They're not like talking on the phone to like other people. Like they're locked in.
Their attention. They're sacrificing they're willing to sacrifice their intent, like even the small amount of attention that you could choose to be on your phone or doing other shit. Like they're taking all their attention and putting it into taking this seriously.
Yeah. And that thing is
that's foxhole shit.
I agree with him. Like I think that's hard as fuck. Like it makes me want to be more locked in. It makes me want to like make sure I'm on time to work, or just like when I get there, I'm not really trying to be on my phone. Like I'm trying to like, for me, like right now, I'll just be super honest. Like I'm trying to make sure I definitely show up on time. If I can be there early, I'm definitely there early, but like gotta be there on time, and I gotta have like my tie looking nice and my uniform looking nice, like so that I clock in and I'm like good. And that's kind of like the checkpoint for just like I'm taking today serious. Like I'm making sure I do that every single day. And like it feels good. It feels right. Like it's crazy because sometimes I'm kind of taking charge of the day in that moment. I'm like, I planned to do that. I executed that. I show up. I hit the numbers, and I'm like, bam, I'm locked in. I look good. Let's fucking go. I'm ready for the day. Like,
yeah.
And in that moment, like I go up, and I'm kind of like in charge of the like.
You're like in front of the day.
Yeah, And that feeling is super valuable. Like that's a big part of just like my success.
Way better than feeling whenever you're behind the day. You're late and your shit's all fucked up. You're just like, I'm here. I'm here.
It's hard to be like coming to Madison Square Garden like that and like really ball and really like execute everything you have to do with a lot of like charisma and gel and like smoothness and grace, like to present formally really well. I think it's like it starts with the like this whole micro and macrocosm. It starts with like way before that. It starts like when I woke up, if I woke up on time, and then like it all leads to like that one moment where I get to like kind of like get ahead finally. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like that's kind of the trend we were talking about with you can't do like 1,000 crunches in one night. It's like you gotta. It's gonna start way before that.
Yeah, it takes time.
Facts.
It takes time because you're living in the now, but you can't have it right now if you don't have it. If you don't have it right now, you can't have it right now.
You can't.
Because you know,
it's not. But you do have it right now. It's just not here right now.
Yeah,
that's what Big Sean would say.
Yeah. Everything exists.
Yeah,
out there right now.
That vision that it hurts because it could be that thing is real too.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, right. I think I had posted something on one of my IG stories, but it was like it's just like a short little clip of it was like a space background, and it was something like energy is neither created nor destroyed. So like everything that you want or everything that exists, everything you could imagine, already exists in an energetic plane or like in like the field of energy or frequency. So
I saw
like,
that.
You know, so like you could like hypothetically the secret law of attracted to yourself is like kind of like a belief, and I kind of fall in line with that.
I kind of do too.
Because God knows. I don't know, man. I just know that Joe Dispenza.
That's like string theory and shit. Is what I was just gonna say. Like, like physics, bro. You know what I'm saying? Kind of, yeah. That's what I think. I think that's what they're alluding to in Oppenheimer too. I feel like that was.
Oh yeah, you saw Oppenheimer. How was that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that was the cool parts. Whenever when they were talking about like quantum mechanics, and they were like one of the motifs of the movie was that like quantum mechanics was like the new science. So
that shit's popping off.
Like Oppenheimer's homies with like Albert Einstein, and like. That's just because like they're a clique of like genius scientists, like
smart motherfuckers.
Yeah, it's like imagine like ASAP Rocky, Drake, Kanye West. Like if there's a convention for like rappers, and then like back in the '60s, like just imagine that people weren't too good to go to like the conventions. Like nobody was really sitting those out. So because of that, like all of these smart motherfuckers from like Germany, like the leading scientists would show up, and then they would talk about the meta of science, like. Yo, why are you studying that at that place when like Berkeley is like the leading place for this thing? Like, why wouldn't you just like? They're like, well, I want to come study with you in Germany because I want to study this thing, and you have the machine, the leading world machine for doing that. Like, they know who's studying what and like where the breaking ground, like advancements are happening in each field across the world. If you're in that top 1%,
yeah, that's crazy.
That shit's nuts, right?
Yeah. So
then, like in that point in time when they're coming up with the idea for like the H bomb and the A bomb and I'm trying to think of what it's called in New York where they came up with the atomic bomb. The Manhattan Project.
Okay.
Yes. So like the movie's kind of about that. But one of the running motifs is that science is like string theory and quantum mechanics is like potentially like the new way of thinking about the world. And like they're really interested in the theory of science, like Albert Einstein and Oppenheimer. Like they like kind of reference how they don't really like math and they don't really want to do physics. They want to operate in like understanding quantum mechanics, because just like it can't be true, it like is true. They're like, we know this is true and we know this is true and we know that's not true. But then if you do it like this, then it is true, and we have to like figure out how to contend with that. And I think part of that's understanding that like we are in a reality. But it's in a reality that this is a kinetic in a field of potentials where any of the potentials could become kinetic almost instantly. And like, it's like not, but yes. At the same time, it's like a paradox. Like nothing can happen right now, but like it happens overnight too. It's like, that's kind of like where we live, you know?
Yeah, the paradox is everything.
And that was one of the things in Oppenheimer is like quantum mechanics is based on paradoxes are true. And it's just like how do you process that into your understanding of what is like isness? You know, like matter and like the universe, and like I think we operate in stories, and these stories are like archetypical in nature, and it's just like life happens in story. Like light travels like in story. Like imagine like life force is measured by story, if that makes sense at all. And that's why we fuck with art so much. And that's why we fuck with books. And that's why we fuck with movies. Because it's like a representation of story. And then we go through story like all the time. Like you can't help it. Like life just unravels. Like the webs you weave, motherfucker. Like you can't get away from who you are and your relationships and what we've done. Like that is life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Our experience.
Our experience, yeah, sure.
We call it life, whatever the hell we're experiencing.
Yeah, life could also just be like my vitality, like just my heart beating. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, food has life force.
Yeah, exactly.
It continues this life thing.
Yeah, there's that too.
Or this experiencing of life. Whatever's going on here, dog. What the fuck? Sorry, I'll lose myself sometimes.
I'm with you. So Oppenheimer's dope because it made me think about this shit, right?
Yeah.
It's like you must contend with the fact that like even the smartest motherfuckers of the smartest motherfuckers were like, we should go to over here and hang out with these guys because we want to study quantum mechanics specifically because this is the new science. Like they're gonna keep going on thinking that this isn't important, but we are pretty sure that this is the actuality of the reality that we live in. Mm. And then it's crazy because like, I mean, spoiler alert. Like skip ahead 5 minutes if you don't want me to just be dropping Oppenheimer shit on you.
Oppenheimer
shit
getting dropped.
So in the middle, it's a lot of like that was a lot of the beginning, like stage setting. I was like, yo, this culture's crazy. This is dope. High society science. I'm fucking into it.
Let's go meta science shit.
Right. In the middle is a lot of like politics. I'm not sure. So my tequila kicked in and I got really sleepy in the middle.
Boom.
And I was just like, man, don't fall asleep because if I fall asleep, I'm legit gonna be like. I'm gonna start making like it's not gonna be like incognito sleep. It's gonna be like obnoxious.
Oh no!
And then I kind of like get myself out of this thing, and I'm awake again for the end of it. And
pick it back up.
Yeah, it's starting to pick back up because they basically like break through. Of course, like they figure out how to. They put together a team of super scientists, and they figure out how to like build a hydrogen bomb. And I'm gonna fuck it up, but they end up like building the bomb and then like giving it to the government. And then it flashes like the whole movie goes through and it flashes back to this moment where he's with Albert Einstein and like this main character, this offset character who was like low key trying to fuck Oppenheimer over the whole time. He's actually the antagonist, but you don't know at first.
Bitch.
I know, right? So like he hates. Part of the reason why he is just like down to crucify Oppenheimer more or less is because he thought Oppenheimer turned Einstein like against this guy. And you kind of think that's what happened the whole time too. But then like at the very end of the movie, he's like, dude, they're like, what if they were never even talking about you? What if they were just talking about something like actually important, pussy? Like, what like you were going to ruin this guy's career because of some shit that you don't even know. And then it flashes back to that moment. And it's like, that Oppenheimer is telling Albert Einstein that, like, when they built the nuclear bomb, that even though it didn't, they thought maybe it would destroy the whole world. Like, the whole world would end up in a chain of, like, the atmosphere layer would break, like, the tectonic plates would shatter, like, it would result in nuclear fire from Russia or Germany, and it would become, like, an end of day shit. Like, there was a legit science that said it was like a 30% chance, or maybe it was 18% chance, something like that, that this would result in like end of days when they used it. And then they used it, and then it didn't result, quote unquote, in like end of days. And then whenever it flashes back to that scene, like Einstein's like, it didn't result in end of days. And then he's like, yeah, but like, what if like the continued fallout of like what happens to the rest of the world? Like what if we like the world does end from like based on this point because now we're forever in like a wartime like political system where like everyone has to have a nuke to make sure no one else can nuke anybody.
We exist in a world now where like nuking someone is a thing you do. Because
he built a nuke and he was like a guy that understood like quantum physics and like paradoxes, and it's like you did end a world. You ended a world where we didn't have to worry about
atomic weaponry.
Yeah, exactly.
Weapons of mass destruction.
And then it was crazy. Like Oppenheimer and Einstein were both like grimly fucked up about that. They were like, "Oh fuck, we did change the world. We did end a world. Like the 18% did happen. Like these are the ripple effects. Like string theory and quantum mechanics is crazy." Because like they spent a season and a time of their life focusing all of their will and power with all of the smartest peers around them on getting a goal done, and it might destroy their world. And then like it did. And like that's life. That's what happens. Like if you lock in on anything and you like get with all the people around you that are like the sharpest tools to try to address that problem, and you
Yeah.
like try to achieve a goal that seems lofty and crazy. Like it probably will end whatever situation you're currently in. Like it probably will bring about a new world for you. And there will be life like before that, and there will be life after that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's dope. That's
Yeah.
dope. That's quantum mechanics. That's string theory. That's we're in a current kinetic, and there's endless potential. And if you
Yes.
just like bloop, bloop, it can't be right now, but then one day it'll be right now,
Mm-hmm. Eventually, yeah, that kinetic will be like
and you'll just be
coming
in that
into the
existence,
static. Yeah.
dude. I think that's
Reaping the seeds you're sowing, man. Reaping the seeds you're sowing.
yeah. That's how I contend with the idea that there's endless possibility, endless timelines, endless
Mm-hmm.
realities where I have blue shoes, red shoes, yellow shoes, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like you just like pop into a different reality where I have a horse, and that horse is my dog.
Yeah.
I can't wait to go see my. You know what I'm saying? Like
Horse dog.
like it's because if I set my mind to it, I could. You know what I'm saying? Maybe there's a reality where I did send that to my mind to it back then. You know?
Mm. Yeah, I don't know, man. We're all just. That's like the cool thing about like physics and metaphysics and quantum
Grab
mechanics.
that vape. Yeah.
Oh yeah, dog. It's like God only knows what's going on, man. And we're all just trying to figure it out. God only knows, and we're all just running behind, trying to catch up. And like the same way that quantum mechanics and metaphysics have been like coming to like I wouldn't say forefront, but like they're definitely studied and definitely much more largely known than they were 60 years ago.
Yeah, definitely not studied.
So like how many more
back then.
things in the next 60 years are we going to discover? What like how many new types of sciences are going to be like, man, this shit's crazy. So but God only knows in the finality of it, like what's really happening or what really is going on. Like all this science we're just trying to figure. We're just like, I don't know, man, what's going on, man? It's
Yeah,
fair
true.
when it is, but it's not at the same time. I don't get it.
A lot of that going on
Yeah.
every single day with everybody. Yeah, to the max. No, I'm with you. I think that the other thing is that once you cross a threshold and you have like the life you want, like I mean, how many of those people are sitting down and writing books, like convincing books, telling people like this is my science or like a testimony, you know what I'm saying? I read as many as I could, more
A
or
lot of
less.
people.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
All those like the Four Agreements and the Fifth Agreement, all those books by like Deepak Chopra or yeah, him as well, and like people who wrote The Alchemist, Paulo Coelho, like yeah, like people was like trying to give, and Tony Robbins, people of that caliber is trying to give transformational information to people. So many of those people out there trying to write books and shit.
The other thing about those people though is that I'm
Kevin
curious
Hart?
to see.
Sorry.
Kevin Hart's one of the good ones. But sometimes people need to sell you on it because they're not achieving like status in the like. Some people want to teach you how to rap because they can't have a #1 record, and some people want to coach because they can't play in the league. So it's crazy when you see someone that's like playing in the league and then they're coming down from that place and they're like saying this is how I did it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's almost more valuable to me in a sense. That's why I like Kevin Hart a lot. I feel like Tony Robbins is like he's crazy because he's like the epitome of someone that coaches not because he can't compete. He's like probably the best coach. You know what I'm saying?
He coaches the coaches.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think he doesn't coach because he can't do. He's just like the best coach. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Him and I guess there is like a I don't know. I'm just like thinking about what you were saying in regards to like personal development or like self-help kind of coaches. I was like, their job is kind of weird. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, or you know,
Where if you're gonna help someone do what they want to do, and then they do it, and then you get kind of take credit for it, it's kind of weird, right?
Kind of, I don't know.
I mean, some people like my parents legitimately like struggled their ass off, like almost really couldn't do it on their own. Like where they were down and willing to pay someone to try to like give them a spark they didn't have. And I think that there's some people like that, like maybe the way you were for Barbara, like Justin's most famous personal training client. I feel like you gave her something that maybe was like worth the money that she wouldn't have had without you, and then maybe she wouldn't have had the same results for like that duration of time without you.
Yeah.
That's valuable.
Yeah, I guess there is that external spark to get everything started, and also maybe just like because of the way that he phrases things, and just like I guess some people in general, like the way that they conceptualize the world and are able to articulate that conceptualization it just like sticks differently with different people. You know, so maybe like the way that he breaks down some things, because he has some great shit. I forget what book it is. I think it's called Awaken the Giant Within. It's one of his older books. It was like, I think it was written in the 90s, but it was a dope ass book. It was like, yeah, talking about like the pain and pleasure and like the neuro associations of like positive and negative like associations with stuff, and like people like reading that, you know, like it's like a objectively just like helpful information. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like the way that some people talk about and break down life is, I guess, helpful to whoever else can digest it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I don't want to knock on it when it's good, you know. I'm wary sometimes just when I see like advertisements or like place marketing, because I think that a lot of times people are trying to, like, when I see the real estate stuff on YouTube and they're like talking about how they generate leads, which leads to these thousands of dollars, and they're trying to get you to buy this program which will teach you how to like develop more leads and all this stuff, and I'm just like, man, if you're making all this motherfucking money, why are you on YouTube talking about trying to get me to work on your pyramid, dog? Why aren't you just in the Turks and Caicos doing dope shit, bro? I'm like, part of the reason, like, you being here makes me think maybe you're not that successful. Why the fuck are you talking to me if you're successful? Because when I was successful, I'm not gonna be banging on doors.
Fuck out of here.
Yeah. I'm not gonna go door to door and be like, hey, I'll teach you to be like me. You want to be like me? No, I'm just gonna be being me. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But like, so that's just why I'm just like weary. Sometimes like the energy behind it like confuses me. I'm like,
come off kind of salesy.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know if there's almost no way you're living like you're saying you're living, because if you were living like that, you'd be eating dinner somewhere 5-star right now, Papa. You wouldn't be on my fucking YouTube channel, Papa. This is 1 + 1 = 2, bro. Like, what are you doing?
They pay for advertising, you know? So they pay for advertising.
It's crazy to think it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy to like, I know I'm really good at owning a company that creates more salesmen. You know what I'm saying? Let me sell you on being a salesman for me so that I can have more sales. And that's what I'm great at. It's like...
Sold.
It's almost what Tony Robbins is too, though. He's like, I will coach your fucking ass off. I will teach you to coach asses off. Are you a coachable coach? Can you take coaching well enough that I can transform you
to the next level of coaching?
If you're lucky one day, I'll get you coaching the coaches of the coach. And then that's how you know you've made it. Like,
you made it.
It's like, I don't know. So, I don't know. Those are just things I think about, because we were talking about wanting things right now. Sometimes when you want, like, I've definitely been in a position where I'm like, how do I make money right now? Like, you just Google that shit, or you just...
How to make money fast and easy. How many times is that Google a day, dog?
It's gotta be a lot. It's gotta be a lot.
How many people just Googling that shit a day? Oh, at least 1 million. At least 1 million on Google. I get it. I understand.
Yeah, no, I've been there. I've literally been there.
Yeah.
And
feel you.
Just some of that is set up. Some of it is set up like the hustle is to get you to buy it. Some of that's set up like that.
Yes,
Not all of it.
Yes.
But 100%. Some of it.
Big time.
And you just gotta be wary of that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that if you have good discernment, then you can find people like Tony Robbins or like Paulo Coelho, or like you can find a book that's actually like fucking grand. You're like, oh no, this is like touching my soul. This is not like
a lot of books can do that.
You said a lot of books, yeah. There's, and then just the salesman energy sometimes behind what gets attached to like a similar thing, like the law of attraction, or like manifesting reality, or like, I don't know, just achieving goals. Like, it seems like there's a lot of, sometimes there's like some corny, like outside salesman type stuff attached to like that persona. Like even Tony Robbins probably has that like stereotype put on him. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy, because I understand when it's like, when it's true and you really are pursuing your goals and you're not like capping on yourself, that's like a beautiful thing. That's like powerful. You know what I'm saying? But it's easy to be like rah in a room about that shit.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's like, I think it's like the most challenging, enticing, like thrilling thing is to like really be pursuing your goals. And I guess it depends on what your goals are. That's a whole nother thing too, is like to calibrate your goals and to calibrate your desires.
True.
And to see if it's really beneficial, or, you know, on a more mass scale, and if it's a game that can be iterated over a long period of time. But yeah, if you have some goals straight, and like it's beneficial to you and like your family and community, like you're pursuing that at a high degree, and shit's going well, and you're like, what the fuck else do you want in this life?
I think that's what we're looking for, right?
Yeah. What else? What else could you?
I mean, shit,
strive
bro.
for?
One of my favorite shows right now is like the Lakers Dynasty
Mm-hmm.
on HBO. It's a fucking great show. Like, I hate when I recommend a show to people and there's just like a ton of sex in it and like a lot of drug use. It's like that's not the part I love about the show per se.
Of course not.
Of course not, right?
Come on.
You wouldn't think I'd have to say that, right?
There's a story.
You wouldn't think, right?
Come on.
Okay. No, but that show's great, to be honest with you. But part of it that blows me away is like the owner of the Lakers, the guy that buys it right before they draft Magic and blow up the franchise to what they are today. He's like fucking like an entrepreneurial businessman, like trying to climb the ranks of like owning property and like flipping it and like operating places and hotels and just trying to be like a big money guy. And he buys the Lakers kind of on a whim, and he knows how to like manipulate using like the mortgages on his mansion that he owns and like ways of getting credit, even though they just like spend a bunch of money so that they can get more credit so that they can do enough shit to last this year so that they can get ticket sales and make it all work. Like this guy's operating like a multi-billion-dollar or at least a multi-million-dollar operation. He's got like they literally win a championship. Spoiler alert. I'm sorry. But they're like you know, if you know history, that they
go off.
Obviously they go off. So he's got like one of the best teams in the league. Like his lifestyle, he's driving Rolls Royces around. He's got like mansions. He's operating with like the who's who are coming to his fucking show and sitting courtside. And that guy still like doesn't have quite like it's not like he's happy. And sometimes he's like an asshole. You know what I'm saying? Like I kind of vision myself like in that place. I think my spirit would be like still like really content, like really like this is it. Like I'd be like fucking smiling every day, just the fact like we got to that place, you know?
Yeah.
But that guy was not there, and it made me wonder like that's probably an accurate representation of like I don't know. I wonder what like people say when you get there it doesn't feel like what you thought it was gonna feel. I think it'll feel like what I think it's gonna feel like. But it's crazy watching like someone who's the owner of the fucking Lakers just really exhibit a lot of behavior, and his whole personality's kind of bent around like always wanting more.
The more,
yeah, and not feeling like he's like truly made it yet. Like he still has more to prove before he's on that like stable ground. You know?
Yeah. What's enough? You know what I'm saying? What's enough?
That's probably a whole nother thing to contend with.
Yeah. What's enough for you, man? Because you can get caught in that loop. There's always more because as we were mentioning earlier in the podcast, the intricacies of the levels and layers. There's always more. There's always deeper. There's levels to the PJs. Like you have a PJ. Well, do you have instant PJ? Does your PJ have Wi-Fi? Bitch, do you have the red zone on your PJ? If not, get the fuck out of here.
How many beds on your PJ? It's a legit conversation, bro.
Right?
Yeah.
So like if you're always in that more and more and more, like you're never gonna be satisfied. There's like J. Cole talks about, love yours, dog. If you're not able to have that capacity to just love yours where you're at and have that gratitude.
Oh, it's gonna want more.
That appreciation, you're never gonna get there, or you'll never find that more you're looking for. It's always around the next thing. It's always gonna be the next thing. I guess in this, who was it? Bus or West?
We're talking about my life right now.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, Jerry Buss.
Bus. Okay.
Jerry Buss, and then Jerry West is the icon that became management, but he's like just in the management structure. He's not like the owner.
Okay. Yeah. Dangerous spot. Because like, would you? There's some people that I know would not trade that for that type of life or for that type of stress, maybe, or that type of internal environment. Even though the external environment, driving a Rolls Royce, is kind of nice. Yeah, if you're like just stuck in that constant stress of moving around your debt just so you can keep your company up, so you can keep this facade or whatever the fuck.
True. It feels like he has fun with that. He embraces that part.
Okay.
Some of it's like I don't know. He's like a really big womanizer.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Understandable.
I know, right?
Fucking guys.
But it's just a crazy thing. Yeah,
Christ.
Exactly, right? It's like annoying to watch someone who is a protagonist who you want to see win and struggle with that shit. Like, because you're just like, it's so pointless. Like, there's so many times where you're fucking yourself over for like, not no reason, but kind of no reason. You know what I'm saying? But it's like watching that demon control him, and then like also his relationship with his mom being like not good, kind of like dictating, and then his relationship with his ex-wife being like not good, and then his relationships with his kids being not great, kind of like dictating like his mood, which dictates the decisions that then everyone has to like deal with more or less. And it's not like he's just like a leading role that's making a lot of great choices that are very agreeable and everybody's like on board with that shit. It's like he's kind of like chaotic and like he's like, nah, fuck that. I pulled out a second mortgage. The bank can eat a dick. We're gonna roll through till March. We're gonna sell all the tickets. Shut up. I know you don't think we're gonna do it. We're gonna sell all the tickets and we're gonna win the championship and we're gonna be fine. Okay? And everybody's like, this guy's crazy. Like you're ruining everything. And then they fucking do it, and then they get to the next level, like almost like Tommy Shelby esque, and you're just like, how you doing that?
What the hell?
I know, right?
Is that guy's metaphysics properly aligned?
How
are you elevating, sir?
It doesn't seem like it, right?
Right.
It doesn't seem like it.
That begs the question. What the hell?
And the other thing is, like, so when I'm watching that show, it is definitely a dramatization. Like, I don't exactly know. Like, they don't paint him
That's
as
true.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
They might be making him a more interesting protagonist by being a more flawed protagonist per se.
Or maybe hyperbolating or exaggerating some of the.
I think there's probably someone out there that's like, no, they're doing a great job portraying the kind of dude he was during that time. Yeah.
Yeah. See, so then why the hell?
I don't know.
He's able to win. How does it play out in the end? Have you seen the whole thing?
I'm up to date. I'm up to season 2, episode 1.
Oh, it's not done?
No, they had the first season, and then you can watch all of that, and they just started season 2. And episode 1 just came out like last week.
How do you think it's gonna end?
The crazy thing is I could just look up their record.
Yeah.
and through the 70s and like or whatever year this is, and I can see how it ends. You know what I'm saying?
Well, maybe not. I guess how it ends for him. In his story, you know.
Well, one thing I think that I know just from like the shit is that like the daughter has to like take over the team more or less, at some point. But like also there's a point where like he gives the team over to like his ex-wife because it's like the bank might sue him for like foreclosure and take all of his assets. So he signs the team to his ex-wife in case the bank does come back for that loan. Then he tells the bank, I don't have the team, so if you come for it right now, I'm not going to do it. But if you just come back in 3 more months, I'll have all your money and we'll be super straight. Or you can take me to the bank on foreclosure for like everything I have, which is like $20,000 right now. You can have the $20,000. I'll just give you $20,000 if you want, bro. And he's like wiggling like that, dog. He's like, that's
loopholes, bro.
So that's part of why I think that there's something about like nature that is like if you're operating at that level, like you're like we're kind of playing small potato ball sometimes. That motherfucker's talking about like $200,000 loans, and a bank is like a structure. It's like an entity. So whenever it's like one person's representing that entity that has a $200,000 loan out, like I think that like in the energy space, in the wiggle noodles of like the metaphysics, in the string theories,
the noodles that are the strings
yeah,
of string theory,
those are thick noodles. Like I think that those noodles are thicker than the noodles that we have flying around right now. And part of that is like having that many people come to your show that you're operating, like you're the person that's represented as like organizing the show where all these people come and like feel this radical spectrum of emotions. I think that like because you bring that much power into the universe every single day, that it does like it puts you on at least a heartbeat that's really high up. And apparently you can fuck up a lot while you're up there and still be up there.
You still keep going.
Yeah.
Keep ascending.
Yeah, I think that's part of what makes Drake so powerful is like in a room, people are like, like crying and shit, bro.
Yeah.
And just like creating that a mass of energy. I think that's like, I might sound like a weird hippie here, but I think that that's like Mother Nature or like the universe or like the cosmos, like as humans, like creating that life force and creating cathartic experience for people to like that feeling of like so much bliss that I'm going to cry right now. Like the feeling you have on mushrooms or like that euphoric feeling. If you create that in the space and like release that into the world, I think that like the universe like wants to reciprocate that for you. It wants to like appreciate that. It wants to like accelerate you so that you can continue to accelerate everyone else.
Yeah.
And that's why I like that's something I appreciate like about artists and why I want to be an artist is that I can like be a part of that process. Like that shit's crazy. I don't really know what's going on out here, but like if I can make someone like feel something and really like have a cathartic moment, because that's those are some of the best moments of my life, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Whenever that happens, and it happens definitely a lot in like concerts and live music. That's why live music is like a whole thing, because you just like listen to an album, but it's way different to go experience it in person and to feel that kind of like a spiritual kind of transcendence almost.
It's where, it is, dude.
The whole crowd is together, and you know it's a whole wave of emotion.
Yeah,
it's valuable.
I think so. I think that the forces that the universe operates on, they think it's valuable. And so, in my mind, that makes it worthwhile to pursue, if that makes sense.
And hopefully it's all going for a good cause. Like, you know, all the energy is projected upwards.
I think that's where it gets. I think that's why Hollywood's so racy sometimes, because some people get it in their head that they can project it somewhere else, and then they do that for some reason. I don't know why. I wouldn't. I'd project it upward. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, he is fucking deep.
Gets deep, dog. Gets deep. That's what I'm saying. I don't know how it's gonna go for us if we're just like we can sell out Madison Square Garden. We can create life force, but we don't want to give it to anything really other than God.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how cool that is in the culture, right?
In the industry.
Isn't Mark Wahlberg kind of like ridiculed, or like Chris Pratt kind of like ridiculed for that? Or
For
not
sure.
ridiculed per se, but whatever.
Tried whatever. I'm not sure what you'd call that, but
Yeah, mocked.
yeah, there you go, Mark.
At least.
For sure. Kanye has that clip where he's like, in the contracts in Hollywood, it says that you can't say Jesus. You can say Jesus at Kanye's house.
Yeah.
It's so hard. Like,
you can say Jesus as loud as you want in my studio.
yeah. I'm like, that, retweet that. I'm on that wave. And I don't know if people are going to have problems with that, which is so weird. Why would anybody have a problem with that?
Right.
Crazy,
especially if we're able to sell out Madison Square.
Seems like people should be asking me how I'm doing what the fuck I'm doing, not, you know what I'm saying? I forget what that clip says, but
yeah, that's, I don't know. I think we are gonna have to contend with that eventually, because I do think that is a real thing.
Yeah, me
real
too.
thing. I think I saw something about that on, I don't know, on TikTok. I think my TikTok algorithm has given me a whole bunch of conspiracy theory shit.
I started skipping those real fast because I realized if I fucking dig in on those, that they're gonna turn me to a loon, you know?
I was like, I don't even know what's real anymore. If I spend more than 2 minutes on TikTok, I'm like, wait, what the fuck's going on in life? I saw something on there that was talking. I think it was a clip from Alex Jones when he was on Joe Rogan one time, and what he was saying was kind of, I don't know, man.
Yeah,
but he was going some crazy shit. I remember listening to that. I think I remember hearing that actual episode a long time, years ago. But it was a clip from that episode, and Alex Jones is just talking to Joe, and it was the one where he's like, "I'm gonna tell you about aliens, Joe. They're real." He's like, "Really?" He's just like, "They're in this room right now." He's like, "You're an alien, Joe." He's like, "Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know," or whatever, blah, blah, blah. He's like, but then he proceeds to go on and tell him that, like, I forget how he transitions it after the aliens speak, but then he talks about there's, like, through scientific research, like, gravity's, like, bleeding in to our reality through, like, what's called dark matter, or, like, I guess whatever our universe is expanding through. Like, is like expanding through dark matter, and like that's like it turns in from dark matter, it turns into our reality, because I guess our universe is going like that. So I guess through that shit, it's leaking in through 12 points. So we have like 12 dimensions of like reality, or like 12. I think he says it's like 12 dimensions of reality, and we exist on the third dimension. But there is like 12, as you mentioned, but so you can like ascend the dimensions.
Yeah.
And like so like we're on 3, but like we have people who are capable of going to 4, 5, or 6. And like those people are like some of like the most brilliant minds that we have in the world. And like those people are like super high vibrational people, don't like controlling other people. But there are also some people who are in that 6th category who are like bad and like want to group up together and like be evil together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And want to control other people.
Yeah.
But like some people don't want to do that. Like the good guys, and like will eventually come in at the end and like save the fucking day. I guess is like kind of how the movies always go.
Yeah.
But in that reality, we're like fighting for this kind of dimension, and like on the 3rd dimension that we live on, there's like I guess maybe underneath that, or maybe intermingled within that 3rd dimension, is like, I guess like evil, or like some shit that wants to be ascended through, but it's like not ascended through, and like the people who are at like that capability are like trying to fucking do some evil shit here, man, and make it normalize evil shit.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. These are the games they play.
That's kind of like how I conceptualize what he was trying to say.
I think it's because it's the nature of entropy is like laziness, or like stealing is easier than working hard, or like anger is easier than love, and like shitty behavior is easier than the good behavior. So like the natural like entropy that occurs from like the fact that we exist in time and space and gravity is kind of what generates like the evil, I think. Because I don't really know why. That's when I think about it in microcosm. In macrocosm, it's like people that ascend dimension want to use that to manipulate other people because of like, I think like power hungriness, like kind of getting off on being tapped into control, to the spiritual part of the world. Like when you're in there, you can either enjoy the show or you can try to like kind of like abuse it, like see what you can get away with it. It's like imagine having a superpower.
Try to push it to the whatever limit you could find.
Right. So like, you could enjoy flying around and just like being a free bird. Like if you just found out one day you could fly. Like, you could just fly forever and never let anybody see, really, and just, like, get away with it and just be cool with it. Or you could kind of, like, see what you could get away with that until you crashed it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yeah.
And I think those are kind of the two options, like that you laid out with like being tapped into like spiritual consciousness.
When you're at that high level of vibration. But it was just, I don't know, it rang extra true on a couple of different levels because I was able to like read more into what he was saying because he only said like so much, but then like what we're talking about now and expounding on is like kind of some things that were going through my mind. So it was hitting me on that level. But then also when he like realized, when he mentioned like fourth, fifth, and sixth dimensions, or like that ascension of like just like normal, I guess, up to the 12th, whatever the fuck that means. But then like because also the way that we've talked about in our early super mega multivitamin usage, like we conceptualize like a 4 guy and a 5 guy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, whoa, are we like tapped into like the fifth or sixth dimension? Are we like some of those people that he's talking about? Are we aliens? And I was like, oh my God, I think that's what he was talking about.
Haven't you been saying that I've been saying that for years.
And like all of that like hit me. I was like, oh, that's what I think what he was trying to say to Joe. Because I think Joe is definitely on this shit.
Yeah.
I think he's a sixth dimension type of thinking person.
I think that's also how you attain a fucking audience like he attains, is being that high vibrational. Like we only see so much of him, you know?
Yeah.
But like I think he must be like the trajectory of his career. It feels like he found a way to be a high vibration individual and like manifested. That's life. That's fucking life, dude. Like doing it like well and right and like good, like that's a good role model of like I put myself out on a limb and I like went into the unknown. He went to California and like grinded sets until and that was the place where opportunity was. Then he got put on he got put on a shitty show, and he did the shitty show with a whole heart until he got put on Fear Factor, and then Fear Factor blew him the fuck up.
You
know what I'm saying? And I think that's like, in my mind, when I think about how does a guy get to a place like that, it's like they must be super high vibrational. And you listen to the way he talks about life and the people he has on and the way him and Duncan talk, those are high vibration conversations.
Yeah.
Sometimes they geek out. They're so high. You know what I'm saying? But like,
I love those conversations.
All that love talk. That's what it is. It's that love talk. It's
trying to break down what the fuck's going on out here.
Bro, I'm figuring out how to forgive people, figuring out why we're all so stupid, like why I'm stuck in my own ways. That's high vibration talk. Like discipline's high vibration talk. I think that's part of what makes Joe so great. He's like really disciplined with his like regimen of his work. Like the podcasting and the working out and the MMA, just like being a laser for that shit.
Yeah, as far as definitely insofar as his professional career, he's like crazy disciplined, like his routines day to day. And then also Duncan had mentioned something in a podcast I was just listening to about Joe, that he's like also like involved in multiple disciplines, you know, like jujitsu, and he's also involved in like archery, and he's also involved in like playing pool and like just like doing like some other shit in the cars. You know, he's like just kind of like a well-versed individual, you know?
Yeah. That's useful.
Right.
Yeah. I just had like a mentor like figure express to me that in the field that he's in, it's way more useful to be good at a lot of different things than it is to be like an expert craftsman at one thing. And in my own mind, I'm like, if you know the way like deeply in one thing, then you'll know the way broadly in all things. It's like everything is everything. So like, if I know how this thing is to the upper limit, like other things are more likely to be a lot like that. But it felt like it was like, as true as that is, like shift gears a little bit and try to be like more Mario Party-esque for the next like couple seasons of life. And it's like, you want to chip up, you need to be nasty at every category. Like don't just be the sickest spectacular catch player in the league. That's not going to get it done this year. Like I need you fast. I need you on the possessions. I need you playing like everything, like well-rounded.
Blocking, son.
Yeah, I'm a motherfucker like well-rounded individual right now. I was like, it's just like annoying because sometimes it's easy for me to conceptualize just being a sharpshooter. It's like I'm just in the corner and bury everything that comes to me. So nice. I'll run my routes. I'll like make sure I'm good off of the screens. I'll do my progressions, and I'm just gonna try to like do my role really well. My specialty really well. There you go. That is an appealing life. That is kind of how I live my life. But I'm like, I want to broaden out. I want to be more more well versed in a multitude of things, like we described.
Yeah. You're broad. You're more broad. You're wider.
Yeah,
larger in that capacity. I guess with it's like the width versus the depth. You know.
But I do recommend getting very well versed in one thing, like especially if you're starting from a place of chaos. If you can learn one thing inside and out, like that provides enough structure. At least for me, it provided enough structure to like learn other things. Like I understand how to give my attention to something because I gave it to this thing. Like I know how to be disciplined with my time for something because I did it with this thing. I understand that there's levels and layers, and I'm gonna be a beginner. Like being a beginner is like something that happens in everything you do. It's like I was a good beginner there. I was a shitty intermediate there. I'm going to be a better intermediate this time. Like there's ways to like transfer that knowledge, like because you learned one thing really well.
Mm.
And I got that from Jordan Peterson. Like it's not nothing original. It's like apply yourself to like one. Like you could do it with like religion. It's like just dive into Christianity. Just like dive into it, because even if 10 years from now you're like, yeah, I don't really believe that so much anymore, which I don't think would happen to you, but let's just say it did. Like the fact that you put yourself into a regimented way of living and gave yourself structure creates your capacity to like fix neuron links. Like you can like get rid of the ones that you have, attach new ones, and then because you refreshed, you're like, oh, I can refresh. And then you could like change your wiring again if you'd want.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're in complete chaos, you just need some kind of structure, of some kind of discipline. I think that's why AA works.
Something.
It's like, here's rock bottom. Here's like 13 things you got to go do. Here's some structure. Take that structure, and like people just get better with structure.
Yes. 100%.
Like working a job. Like if you just like Jordan Peterson recommends, go be a dishwasher at a restaurant, because being a dishwasher at a restaurant, the structure of that will make your brain better than if you're on the couch watching TV all day. It's like there's something to being in an environment where there's like responsibilities that you have to uphold, and then when you uphold them and then like come back from having done that all day, like there's being in that loop is a loop that allows you to like have brain chemistry that is like what you're intended to do. It's what your brain chemistry is supposed to operate on. So like things go smoother for you.
Yes.
And then in the place of smoothness, you can really do some damage. You're like, all right, hold up, I'm hooping now.
Yeah, you can transfer that. Yeah, yeah. It's a great building block. Any structure, any routine. I think actually my boss was talking about that today, or he was talking about a book. I think it was called like Socrates Saved My Life or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And it was he's gonna lend it to me, but he was mentioning that just the idea of routine. I guess within that book it mentions the idea of routine, like saved this guy's, like he was like at rock bottom, like suicidal, I guess, and had reached maybe read something on Socrates, and I guess what he had read was just more or less trying to like instantiate routine and habit and how important that is. And it's like I guess kind of what Jordan Peterson's talking about. If the ability to build a habit out of like anything, or like have some sort of routine and structure, that'll be the foundation out of which you can like ascend. You know what I'm saying? And if like you're in rock bottom, like this is your ground floor now. Is like routine and schedule and organization. Like that, at least that'll get you out of there. Yep. And once you're there, then you could build. Yep. I guess that was kind of what the illusion was, or what some of the nuggets were.
That's it though. That's it. It's hard to express. Like you just need a base floor. And it's like, it's an alchemist. Like, he has to work at the glass shop before he can go to the desert. It's like, why doesn't he just go to the desert? Like, as a reader of the book, I remember thinking early on, I'm like, why the fuck is he doing that?
I can skip this whole chapter.
Yeah, why doesn't he skip this whole fucking chapter? This poor fucking guy. I'm over here.
Bullshit.
I'm like relating to you as a protagonist. I'm hurting for you, like working in this fucking glass shop. And then I realized, like, it's part of the story for a reason. Like, you have to get yourself on that, like, routine and schedule of just anything. Like, being locked into something. And I think that's part of, like, string theory, too, is, like, to be, let's say like frequency is true, right? Or we'll just say that it is true for this instance. So like the frequency of your life that you want to live is like right here. And I think if you were going to like get yourself from like where you're at to where that's at, you'd have to find like a similar frequency. So like, for instance, the life you live probably wants to be in structure. Like if you want to do anything, you're going to have to be in structure to be doing that thing. And I don't think anybody wants to do nothing. So like, let's say the life you want is, I don't fucking know, man. Like being like a fucking surfboarder. It's like that the person that is a surfboarder, they have to get up every day and surf like around 6 a.m. when like the wake is good and the sun's not up, and like you do it with the sunrise and you catch that morning surf. It's like if you start emulating that now and like integrate little bits of like what it would be like for you to be that person if there were no constraints into like the constrained person, that's how you would get yourself to a frequency that's similar enough to where you can like cross over into that. But it's almost impossible without structure practice. Yeah,
it's like temperature. It's like you can't get to 150 degrees without going through 140.
Yeah,
that's you'll never get to 140 if you're at like 90 right now. It's like you're gonna have to eventually like turn it up slowly but surely, like elevate yourself to that person to where it's like, oh, I'm like there now. Yeah, I'm that person now.
I'm like doing it.
Fuck yeah, I'm doing it.
Let's go.
I'm surfing.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, it's not. You can't have anything right now until it's happening right now. It's like that's the paradox of it.
Yeah,
and I think that there's something to be said for just structure in general. The person you want to be is structured.
Yes.
So I think starting with some kind of structure, or just like you said, like you can't get from A to C. You're gonna have to go A, B, C. And that's reiterated in The Alchemist and reiterated in those things.
Hell yeah. Nice, Doug.
Dude, I just want to pod with you forever, bro. How long?
this
How
is
long's it
nice.
been?
We're a little over an hour and a half.
What do you want to go to?
I might want to try to wrap her up.
Yeah.
Can I get a? Oh, here you go. You're leaving tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna go get a new computer for the production team.
Let's go.
AKA
New
me.
CPU unit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be top of the line, so I can edit the podcast and
Fucking
create better
ladies.
content. Have a studio here at home so that we can pump out more songs. There's a lot of stuff I've been working on, but we just take our time with a lot of stuff, especially with the music.
Oh yeah.
It feels like we take too long sometimes. I'm just gonna be candid with you guys. We're in my living room and everything. Sometimes I'm like, damn, bro, I just want to drop more music. But what I am proud of is while I was living with Ryan, which was like a 8 or 9 month period, we released TLP, like 3 singles, and Death to Self.
Really? That was all in the time that you lived over there?
Yep.
Oh wow.
That's crazy, right?
Nice.
What a run.
Good shit, y'all.
Yeah, we went in, dude. Because
Nice.
I finished Star Baby in that house. And that's like the
Okay,
intro to
yeah.
that album. And it was the last touch we had to really do was like fix the back half of that verse more or less.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we dropped all of that while I was there.
Nice.
So even though I feel like in my own mind, I'm like, fuck, I never drop music. It's like, that's not true at all, bro. Like in the last season of life, you gave yourself like a year run. And in that year, there was a 9 month span where you dropped like, I don't know, like 15 songs or
Yeah,
something
that's
like
12, like 13, 14, 15, like 18 songs.
that. That's great.
Almost 20 songs.
Fuck yeah.
Let's go.
So yeah, there's just, you can't have anything right now.
Mm.
God, dude, here we are.
And we're right back in it, bitch.
Facts. Dude, like I wish I was just like.
There's a time.
Yeah.
But it's all coming. I think we planted the seeds. We planted the seeds and we're working on them and like they're stewing in our subconscious. And whenever it's time to bloom, it's time to bloom.
Yep.
Right.
Pretty soon I'll look back and I'll be like, I just dropped 18 songs actually.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, everything's like a run. It's
Yeah.
like you have to week 1 happens and then you just gotta like bury yourself. And then one day it's like week 13 and you're winning a playoff game and you're like, fuck, we're in it. This is it. We just dropped a banger, dude.
Let's
Like,
go.
but it's just nothing's right now. Like nothing.
Yeah, we just gotta keep on planting the seeds in the right now. Enjoy the seeds that we've sown, learn from them,
Yeah.
plant some better ones.
Yeah. Be super grateful for like all the things you do have.
Just take it all in stride. Take it all in stride. It ain't gonna help tonight.
Man,
Yeah, man.
love you guys.
Love y'all. First episode in the Matty Pad. Coming to y'all live. Or maybe not live. We'll see y'all eventually though.
Yeah, for sure. We'll be in the flesh soon enough.
Yeah, episode 18.
Yeah,
Have a
thanks
great
for
rest
being
of
with
your
us
day.
this far. I freaking love you.
Hell yeah, appreciate each and every one of y'all. Love you all very much.
Seriously.
Keep crushing. We're rooting for you.
Raj.
Raj. See you next time.
Bye.
Peace.
Rolling through the city to the light show. Really ain't no telling where we might